How can the possibilities with augmented and mixed reality bring about new potentials for flow states in us and the work that we value the most? Seeing people build workstations in Apple Vision Pro while virtually sitting atop a volcano gets me excited about the future of flow states in work, particularly anything that requires our connection to the digital world. Distractions and friction block us from accessing the flow state, and so much of our world is full of overwhelming inputs. So most of us never truly access flow in the work that we do. I think that it's worth considering what mixed reality will mean for our flow states, and that's why I'm excited to make this video today. How is it going to help to enhance flow and creativity with the work that we do? Where will it take away from our ability to find flow? And at the end of the day, what does all of this on the horizon really mean for flow states? I do want to note before we get into the video that I'm in Canada, so as of recording this, Apple Vision Pro has not been released here and is not expected to come until maybe the end of 2024. So I don't have one. This isn't a review video or a walkthrough of any sorts, if that's what you're looking for. This is more my take on some of the interesting possibilities in this new era of mixed reality or augmented reality and how it relates to our flow states. Now let's talk about AR Bliss Stations first. The first thing that really got me excited about the Apple Vision Pro and the future of finding flow with work while using it was those views from Haleakala. The immersive visual experiences and the possibility of complete visual serenity is something I can see having a huge potential for distraction-free work. In the recent video on The One Thing, I talked about the importance of building a Bliss station or having an environment that supports the work that you are focusing on. And Joseph Campbell talks about this idea of the Bliss station as that place and time where you are completely immersed in the work that matters most to you. Jamie Wheel also calls this the Flow Dojo. And I know I'm not alone in saying this, but distractions are one of my biggest deterrents from deep work and getting into flow with the work that I want to do. Particularly visual and audio distractions for me. I mean, even as of recording this, I'm staring at a wall of clothing racks. It's pretty well organized, but the color and sheer amount of stuff in front of me overwhelms my senses at least a couple of times a week. And building these Bliss stations is one of the ways that we can tap into what's uniquely in your own power to create. A Bliss station is a time and place for this creative bubble of bliss and generation. Having a Bliss station unlocks new potentials for flow in us because it eliminates distractions and it creates this potential for deep focus. The problem is that many people struggle with the idea of building Bliss stations because out of necessity, they're doing work in suboptimal locations for it. This is one of the biggest deterrents for most people in building this Bliss station of their own or this flow dojo wherever they live and not having the space or having shared space with other people. And that's why if you're like me, waking up at 5 a.m. to write before anyone else is awake is a way to create your Bliss station in a busy household. I think that the idea of working in a visually serene environment opens up a new world of bliss for us. Pop in some noise-canceling earbuds and together you have unlocked a whole new world for melting into the bliss of your work. At least work that requires input with the digital world. But knowledge work is the way for the future for most of us. Now, what about the cost? It's not an elephant in the room anymore because everyone is aware that the Apple Vision Pro costs a lot. Considering the conversion rate from US dollars into Canadian dollars, we'll be looking at something probably around $4,500 or more as the cost for this Apple Vision Pro when it's released in Canada. It will for sure be a limiting factor for most people and probably not worth buying the first iteration of. It's undeniable that this is a luxury item for now, but I can imagine all the people trying to find more flow in their work to create something uniquely theirs while getting the deep satisfaction and fulfillment that comes from being completely immersed in their task at hand. How this is going to be so much more accessible no matter where you are seated or standing. We've been able to drown out the noise of coffee shops with headphones, but now all of that motion around us can be eliminated and replaced with a stunning and awe-inspiring landscape. We know that nature is inspiring to the extent that even background images of nature and fake plants in the office can enhance creativity and feelings of calmness. People go to great lengths and costs to create this kind of serene environment to focus on work and eliminate distractions. From renting cabins in the woods to building private workshops at the back of their property to cottages on the lake. All of these avenues are far more expensive and a lot less convenient than the sticker shocking price of the Apple Vision Pro. From the videos of people showcasing their work days in the AVP, I can see that it's already got a lot of promise. Once we've gone through a few generations of this new device to the point that it's even less cumbersome and the battery lasts longer, we'll be able to generate unmatched Bliss Stations anytime and any place to get into flow with the work that we value the most. Being able to set up a distraction and clutter-free workspace anywhere will reduce friction and enhance focus. This will immediately make flow more accessible for many of us who struggle with being overstimulated by our surroundings when trying to focus and get work done. It's also going to lead to amazing insights and breakthroughs that we can't even imagine yet. John Vervaeke talks about flow as being an insight cascade. As we stumble upon insights, we get little bursts of flow and vice versa. Being in the flow state spikes our brain into gamma wave regions where we get hit with that aha moment. Being fully immersed in this augmented reality of work where you can have many different windows open all at once in three-dimensional space will allow creators to see into a whole new realm of imagination. I can already picture mind maps like what you would see in Obsidian and Rome becoming three-dimensional all around you as you manipulate the points and connections to those different pieces of information. And the same goes for musicians. They'll be able to stand amongst the notes of the music that they create. If flow demands us to continuously push our skills and the challenge to stay in the zone, the creativity that we're about to unlock is unfathomable. Now let's shift gears a little bit because I want to talk about training flow in the Apple Vision Pro with enhanced visualization. This is another interesting breakthrough that I think is coming soon for our performance and sports psychology. Visualization is such a powerful tool for training flow across many domains, but especially in the realms of physical performance. When your body is too beat up to keep on pushing, often your mind still has some fight left to give. We can use mental imagery or visualization practices to picture our performance for perfect practice. This is a popular psychological tool amongst professional athletes. Michael Phelps was reported by his coach Bob Bowman as being the best visualizer he had ever seen. As if being the best swimmer in real life wasn't enough, he could beat anybody with his imagination as well. In some sports, we use mental imagery to rehearse accuracy, while in others, like in swimming, we want to imagine practicing perfectly, but also visualize the competition scenario so well that we can predict our performance using a stopwatch. Phelps would be within milliseconds of his real swim time when all he was doing was lying on the floor or sitting with a stopwatch and imagining every stroke from the start until he touched the final wall. Now I'm wondering, with the Apple Vision Pro and this new world of virtual reality, What will happen to our ability to visualize competition scenarios? You could place football players on the field at the Super Bowl and have them not just imagine the sights and sounds in their head, but actually see and hear them as if they were there. This trains away performance anxiety and allows us to rise to new heights of performance. It also can save lives and allow athletes to ride a wave of flow out of disaster whenever it strikes. By enhancing visualization, we can be prepared for adversity in riskier sports. Andrew Huberman's lab has studied fear responses in virtual reality settings by swimming with sharks. Soon we'll be able to recreate this unbelievably high fidelity anywhere, rather than just in super expensive labs. And this can even extend to training flow in high skill, high risk professions while eliminating that risk. Surgeons will be able to practice incredibly complex surgeries this way. And it's important to also consider where this could go wrong for flow. Well, I think that the promises of enhanced focus and flow with knowledge work by immersing ourselves in awe-inspiring and visually clutter-free workspaces will offer a lot of good for us. It could very easily lead to a world of dystopian workplaces where you throw on your Apple Vision Pro headset and disappear into your work in a tiny cubicle, while around you are countless other people doing the exact same thing, all crammed into rooms like sardines. Augmented reality may also make it harder to focus without the discipline to still keep your augmented workspace clutter-free. I'm sure that for a while, this novelty of having windows open on every surface around you is going to make it hard to focus on the work in front of you that matters most. I also think that in the dystopian sense, people getting too immersed in their virtual and augmented worlds is antithetical to using flow to get the most meaning and fulfillment from our lives all of the time. While we derive meaning from finding flow in our work doesn't have to be and shouldn't be the only thing in our lives when it comes to finding flow. We use work to train the skill of getting into flow in other areas as well. Just as the novelty and complexity of video games make them highly addictive because they very easily drive us into a flow state, there's no real satisfaction that comes from the other side of that flow state. This new world of mixed reality headsets will be full of flow triggers like novelty and complexity, while allowing us to tune out many of the flow blockers like friction and distractions we face from every direction around us. Getting lost in mixed reality will feel like entering a world filled with flow. There we may find a sense of purpose in just one thin slice of our life, but life and flow is made up of so much more. We need robust physical health and social health. And there's only so much that mixed reality can do for our environmental health when we finally take off the ski mask that's blocking us from seeing the world that's around us. So this leads us to our final sort of question. Will I be getting the Apple Vision Pro? I'm excited by the potential of the Apple Vision Pro, but I'm not sure that I'll be wanting to spend all of that money on the device just yet. It looks like the interface is very good for some work productivity, but not totally there yet. I'll have to wait and see what updates and improvements come before it's finally released here in Canada. I love seeing the power that this new technology can bring to our performance and our work satisfaction, and I think that with these new devices like the Apple Vision Pro, a new era of creativity and flow has arrived. But I also want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Are you excited for the workplace potentials of mixed reality? And do you think that it's going to help you particularly find more flow? Or will it make it harder for what you do?